Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the big club. Now, let's just get right into it. Let's stop with the formalities. No big introductions are needed, but welcome to the channel, and I hope you're going to learn and enjoy this presentation. Now, when we talk about the Illuminati, people think it's a joke, but the Illuminati is not a group of rich people playing games in the dark. This is a blood-soaked machine. The Illuminati is a global cult obsessed with domination, ritual, and energy. See, you have to understand one thing. They don't just control the world. They desecrate it. The natural order of how the world is supposed to work, the Illuminati inverts it. And you've been watching it all from your screen, like, oh, it's just entertainment. But they've been showing you all along that this is what we are doing. Now, what you're about to hear is going to stain your soul, because you will never look at your idols or your movies or your music the same again. I can look at these things because I understand the truth behind it. The Illuminati is not just a club of the elite. It's a religion of control. So those who know it, it is known as the old religion. Another word for Satanism. That's the religion that they ultimately follow, Satanism. And its members are politicians, entertainers, tech giants, fashion moguls, really every industry, all tied together by one core obsession. And again, that is inversion, to invert the natural order of this world, or of the universe, if I might say that. That is destruction, that is power through spiritual manipulation. You have to understand that every celebrity you worship, every billionaire you trust, they weren't chosen because they're gifted. No. This has nothing to do with talent. They were groomed, they were recruited, they were initiated. So you have to understand that fame isn't given. This is why you won't just see me blowing up, because the fame, it's not given. It is purchased with obedience and spiritual submission. You have to bow in silence while your audience cheers in ignorance, but you're submitting spiritually. Now let's get into the rituals that they do, what they actually do, because most people, they understand, okay, there's the Illuminati, they're the authority, whatever. They're the top dogs. Yeah, we get it. Now, what do they actually do? I'll tell you what they actually do. When it comes to rituals, I like to say that they don't just perform rituals, but they perform or commit soul violations. In private mansions, forests, and basements you'll never see, they host human energy harvests. So when somebody talks about, I don't know if you guys are aware of this other ritual that's one of the popular ones, the spirit cooking ritual. It's real, where they actually blend semen with urine, with blood and breast milk. These are the ritual elements that they use, and they are going to drink these things. So while you see Lady Gaga, in some weird occult art, surrounded by dead bodies and, cake shaped like human bodies, and you think, oh, that's just edgy. No, There's nothing edgy about that. Oh, it's art. You don't understand it. No, those those are symbols. They're showing you that spiritual degradation, disguised as performance. They're trying to make you think that, oh no, it's just a performance, it is just art. But no. And these people, man, they believe in ancient energy systems. They believe that trauma, especially sexual trauma and emotional trauma, they believe that it opens the soul. This is why you often hear about these gay rituals that they do, especially in the entertainment industry, where before you actually become this big famous person, you go through one of these rituals, like the gay ritual, where as a man you can actually get raped by other men. So they believe that while doing that, it can enlighten you. And of course, a part of yourself is also getting lost. And that's how you actually sell your soul. While they're doing that to you, they are shocking the energy from your root chakra to actually go all the way up to your brain, because that energy, it sits right where the anus is, at the root, down there at the spine. So when they penetrate it, you get shocked, and it can lead to mental disorders, but they believe it leads to enlightenment. So even things like child sacrifice, these are real things. Children trafficked, not just for lust, but to extract the essence of life itself. Adrenochrome, where they actually torture these kids so that adrenaline can be accessed through their blood, and they drink that blood full of adrenaline. Real stuff, harvested through unimaginable terror. That's what they do to these kids. And you think it's a joke. No. All of these people disappearing, this is what actually happens with them. All of these people missing, this is what actually happens with them in most cases. They are sacrificed. They are tortured. They are eaten. So entertainment is no longer entertainment. It is a mass initiation. People get excited for things like the Super Bowl halftimes. No. Those are open rituals. You'll see Sam Smith in red leather horns, all of these Lil Nas X, grinding on the devil. And you think, oh no, it is just art. No. That stage is an altar. That's a ritual being performed. And you, the audience, you are the participant. While you cheering for Lil Nas X grinding on the devil, while you cheering for all of these funny things that you're seeing on the stage, you are a part of that ritual. You absorb those symbols, you chant the lyrics, and you call it a vibe, but you're being sacrificed. Your energy is also being harvested during that ritual. So yeah, man, that's what they do. They speak in symbols right in front of you, showing you the one eye, that's showing you that they're loyal, to the Luciferian energy, the Luciferian enlightenment. The pyramid, they're showing you the hierarchy, the black and white checkerboard that they show all the time. That's the duality under manipulation. And you think it's harmless, then why is it everywhere? Why is the symbolism everywhere? Cartoons, music videos, even children's toys. Why is sexual inversion and chaos the main theme pushed in everything now? because they worship disorder, because inversion is their sacrament, if I might say that. So when you see a celebrity suddenly blow up out of nowhere, you must ask yourself this: what did they sign? What did they give? What did they agree to never say? Because most of you think the price of fame is hard work. No, the real price is submission. Submission to ritual, submission to control, submission to these handlers that watch them day and night. When they glitch, like Kanye West always does. When they break down, when they start screaming in interviews and they shave their heads, that's not a mental breakdown, that's the program failing, you know. That's the MK Ultra failing, unraveling. That's the soul rejecting the contract, if we can say that. They are tired of being controlled, you know. So it is gender destruction, you know. Look at what they're pushing, you know. Again, inversion is what they want. So when they push gender destruction, when they push the LGBTQ, nothing wrong if you're the LGBTQ, but if you're part of that community, that's who you are, that's your choice. But they want everyone to be in that community, if you actually think of it, because that's the inversion, because they do those things behind the doors, they do those sex rituals, they do those orgies, so they want all of society to be like that, to do all the sexual depravity that they do, so you are the altar when you think about it. You're the altar. Your attention is the offering, your soul is the currency, and the Illuminati doesn't need to stay hidden anymore because you are too distracted to resist it. They show you the evil and you scroll past it. They flash the symbols and you laugh at it. You think it's cool, but you are part of the ritual with every song that you sing, every idol you post, every trend you follow. And you think it has nothing to do with them. You think it has nothing to do with the devil or any of that. But it has everything to do with all of that. You are being initiated into Satanism. Slowly but surely. And they want everything. They want your joy, your peace, your mind, And when they're done using you, they won't kill you. They'll make you kill yourself. That's what they'll do to you. So you need to be careful, You need to be careful with this kind of stuff. Because you don't see it, but actually you're being initiated. And you might wonder why your life is a mess. Because of all of these celebrities that you follow, all of these trends that you follow. Spiritually, you're being sacrificed. You're also losing your soul. That's what most people don't understand. That's what happened at that Travis Scott concert where people died. And some of them, they straight out said that, no, the energy, it felt demonic. They were sacrificed. That was a mass sacrifice. And why is now Travis Scott a bigger star than ever before? Because of that sacrifice he did. This is how the real world works. This is how they get power, through sacrifice. This is how they get immense wealth, through sacrifice, blood sacrifice. The reason they are in control is because they understand these ancient energy systems. They understand this old religion and how it works. but at the end of the day, it is a death cult. That's what I would refer to it. The Illuminati is a death global cult. They want death. That's ultimately what they want. They want death. See you on the next one.